Welcome to Rex Arthur TV. This is the Rex Arthur Show where we discuss LGBTQ issues with an LGBTQ approach and a humanistic approach, and uh, of course, in an LGBTQ plus planet where everybody belongs to one letter in the sexual alphabet, LGBT double QIAAP. And today we are finished the marathon of UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Congratulations. It has been a wonderful run, and I've learned a lot, and I've gained a lot, and I'm even getting better and better in my understanding of human rights. And so we are very grateful that you managed to stay with us this week as we were celebrating the UDHR, 70 years of the UDHR. And this is the article Salvatory clause, and nothing in this declaration may be interpreted as implying for any state, group, or person any writing forth herein. So this is a salvation clause or a healing clause that nobody is supposed to interpret anything in this UDHR or document that would be aimed at destroying the rights and freedoms of the person. So, as I said, this is no difference to Article 29. Article 29 is giving limitations, and Article 30 is saying that there will be nothing in the declaration that will be interpreted to mean destruction of any rights or freedoms mentioned here. So basically, the rights and freedoms mentioned in the document are fully protected, and they cannot be destroyed by any interpretation or by any person or by any group or by any individual. This article has destroyed any rise of one man like Adolf Hitler, or a group like Al Qaeda, or a state like the ancient states that destroyed nations, because there is no individual, no group, no state that can use the UDHR or can interpret any clause to mean destruction of the rights and the freedoms of persons. So congratulations to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the United Nations and all the nations that are members to the United Nations. It is the best organization that has tried its best to control the world and maintain world peace. So far, there has been no World War III. Congratulations, we have tried, and we can do better. Now, we're going to do another video to see the signatories of this. Well, we could do it right now and see the signatories of the UDHR. How, because I was having a problem with how countries signed up to the UDHR. And then we'll be done with the study. Okay, so this is the UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights signatories. Ethiopia blog. Now, the UDHR is a declaration that is adopted by United Nations General Assembly on December 10th, 1948 at Palais des Charlots, Paris, and this declaration arises directly after the experience of Second World War, and it's 30 articles that have been stated and elaborated in international treaties, national constitutions, human rights instruments, as well as other laws. Yes, that's what has happened. And these are the nations that signed. 48 nations in 1948. Chile, Afghanistan, Brazil, Bolivia, Burma, Belgium, Australia, Argentina, Egypt, Ecuador, Dominican Republic, Denmark, Cuba, Costa Rica, Colombia, China, Iraq, India, Iceland, Haiti, Guatemala, Greece, France, Ethiopia, El Salvador, New Zealand, the Netherlands, Mexico, Luxembourg, Liberia, Lebanon, Iran, Sweden, Philippines, Peru, Paraguay, Panama, Pakistan, Nicaragua, Norway, Uruguay, United States of America, United Kingdom, who signed on behalf of the colonies and trust territories, Turkey, Syria, and Venezuela. Now, the 8 members that abstained is Belarusia, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Ukraine, the USSR, as well as Yugoslavia. Canada is also among the countries that signed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It was omitted on the list. I wonder why. I think it's because they did not know what to call Canada, being under UK. But look at the countries that abstained. Very fishy. Are you seeing Russia? They played a very dangerous game. They didn't want to be part of the United Nations. And South Africa, that was an apartheid government. And we said in one of the videos, we say the apartheid government was an illegitimate government for that reason. You see, they even didn't want to come. They read those. I'm so sorry. It sounds hilarious, but it's sad. They read those articles and they said, oh my goodness, we are doing the opposite of what is there. Let's not even bother. And then look at Saudi Arabia. You see, it needs help. Yes, I know it's the home of Islam, but it needs help because it should have signed up. Well, let's see if they did sign up. Okay, this article is not so good. I want to see the signal is not what I wanted it to. I wanted it to give us the list date of signing up to UDHR. Okay. Yeah, let's look at this timeline. I hope it's going to give us what we want. So we've read the countries that signed up. No, this one is not doing it. Okay, let's see. In 1976, no. Signatory history of UDHR. Okay, this guy has given us a link. Let's hope it saves us. History of the document. This is better. Okay. Let's go to the OHCHR home. OHCHR home. United Nations Human Rights. There we are. Then it's not giving us what we want. Okay, let's look for UDHR. Okay, it's not giving us what we want. Issues. Okay, they're the human rights instruments. Universal Declaration of Human Rights, there it is. Voting record, we have already gone through that. Okay, so this is interesting. I am going to make a conclusion, and I think the conclusion is that the reason why, let's put an African country and see, when did Zambia sign up to the UDHR? Okay, they haven't put it, but I know Zambia has the, of course, they have the human rights. What do you call it? They have human rights. You see, Islamic countries, it's very important. For Islamic countries, they have a issue with the UDHR, so that's why they're talking about them. Yeah, I love Unitarian Universalism. They're very good religious group by the Unitarians. Okay, so basically they haven't listed the people, and I think the reason being United Kingdom signed for its colonies, and so they didn't see a need for the nations to resign again, and the same as France, because that's what Article 2 says, that the UDHR was going to affect the territories under trust and the territories under and the territories under that are not independent, and that's what Article 2 says, and I think that's what happened. And so Britain, France, and Spain, especially countries that had not got independence but they were under them, they became signatories to the UDHR. That's what I'm taking it to be. So congratulations to, I don't know I don't know how to congratulate a colonialist, but it seems that's what happened. Okay, now let's look at the drafters of the UDHR, and then we are done with our marathon, because drafters of UDHR, and we are done with the marathon. Thank you so much for claiming Human Rights website. It was a wonderful website that has helped us do a very good job. We are proud of you. So these are the drafters of the, so that people can understand and not say, someone was saying, he wrote an article and said it was it's a document written by the West. It's a Western document, and I thoroughly disagreed with that, because United Nations is a very international, cultural, religious, and political organization. They don't even have Western leanings. Have you seen what Trump has done, the leader of the Western society? He has even withdrawn some money to UN because of that. So UN is not a Western organization. It's a global organization mixing everything. Yes, and this is the proof. Look at the drafters. Does that one look like a Westerner? He is from Lebanon. Dr. Charles Malik. Thank you. Alexander Bogomolov. And it's so weird. He's from USSR, but USSR abstained. Another Dr. Peng Chun Chang, China. Congratulations. René Cassin, France. Congratulations. Eleanor Roosevelt. Congratulations. Charles Dukes, United Kingdom. Congratulations. William Hodgson, Australia. Congratulations. He was taking some drink. This one looks like Peter Sellers. Hernan Santa Cruz, Chile. Congratulations. Using that Chinese guy, he's smiling. He noticed the camera was looking at him. All right. John P. Humphrey, Canada. Congratulations. And those are the people who signed. Women should congratulate Eleanor Roosevelt for representing the women folk. But basically, okay, is there any African? The closest, sadly, no African was involved in drafting. Reason being, Africa was still was colonized, but nonetheless, the colonialists did not refuse to sign up, so it's okay. Africa was represented in absentia, and as we've said, what Africa has done, it has borrowed the provisions from the UDHR into its constitutions. So it's okay. We didn't really need to appear there. The principles, I mean, like Africa has a right to say it will not sign up to UDHR. Look at South Africa, but South Africa did that because of the fact that it was an apartheid society. It was thoroughly against an UDHR. And I want to see why South Africa and the UDHR. It's a very sad, of course we understand Saudi Arabia because of Islam. Let's read this. So, the South African, in addition to communist countries, South Africa was a noteworthy abstainer from the vote for the UDHR. So, even communist countries did not sign up to the UDHR under USSR. Reason being, it was filled with freedoms. And as I told you, freedom is a very capitalistic concept. So, communist countries, especially the socialists, did not like that the document, and they abstained. But South Africa was a capitalist society. But why was it? That's because in 1948, South Africa's government was mostly based on violating human rights. It's so sad. Yes, that's what happened. I'm laughing because of how it's written. Mostly based on violating human rights. Can you imagine a government that's just bent on violating human rights? So sad. And South Africa's National Party established a government based on a system of apartheid. It is legal racism, only worse. Under this system, segregation between the races was not only allowed, it was actually required by law. Kind of Jim Crow laws, but applied on a federal level. Actually, South Africa was worse than America, because America, it was just state laws. But South Africa, it was the whole of South Africa that was under legal racism. It kept a registry of people based on race and used this information to enforce segregated housing. Black South Africans, the majority of the population, were forced to move outside of city centers where the white ruling class lived. Other laws prohibited interracial marriage. There was no difference between South Africa and Nazi Germany. Absolutely none. Actually, Nazi Germany died, but South Africa went on with the Nazism. So very sad. And apartheid in South Africa didn't really end until 1990s, when leaders of the African National Congress managed to negotiate a peaceful dismantling of the system. In 1994, South Africa established its own Bill of Rights, which pretty closely resembles the UDHR. But what I want to find out is, did South Africa ever sign up to the UDHR? It seems this because the UDHR, once the day they made the UDHR and signed up to it, there's no freedom to enter for it. So let's finish with this. South Africa UDHR signature on 10th December 2022. Okay, let's see this. Claiming Human Rights, very good website. That's where we were reading our things. Let's see. The Republic of South Africa is a member of the United Nations and African Union. It has ratified many UN human rights conventions. Yes, that's what I wanted to see, the ratification. So these are they have ratified. These are the ones they have ratified. And okay, I don't think they really signed up to the UDHR, but as I told you, yes, because they were a country, it was an independent country at the time of the UN, but as I told you, South African independence, yes, as I told you in the other video, that there was the first South African independence of 1910, the Union of South Africa, but that was that is when the apartheid government now started raising its ugly head. So this is the history of South Africa, the Rainbow Nation. Okay, you see, it was a union 1910, self-governance 1931, and that's when they became very apartheidic, and then republic 1961, more apartheid, and finally it became a proper constitutional republic in 1997. All right, I think we're done, guys. That's all we could do for today. It has been a very good marathon, and you have seen the drafters, and you've also seen the South African, the history of countries that abstain to vote in the UDHR for special reasons. One of them being they were violators of the human rights, even USSR. I think Joseph Stalin committed very many crimes, and you see he was a communist party, and he was the nation's premier from 1941 to 1953, and the UDHR was signed in 1948, and he couldn't sign up because of the many genocides that took place. Let's see when these genocides happened. The Holodomor. You see, look at the death toll, 3.3 million to 7.3 million. Holodomor, when did it happen? Of course, it happened before World War II, so it's not part of. Yes, this is. It was recognized as a genocide by 15 countries, including Ukraine. So you can see how Ukraine and Russia still are not friends because of the history they have had. And I think under Joseph Stalin, things were not very easy. Yes, of course, he was a socialist. As I've told you, the problem of socialism, it can become very dictatorial. And this is what happened under him. And that's what you can see, the Great Purge. Yes, Stalin instituted the Great Purge, in which over 1 million were imprisoned and at least 700,000 executed between 1934 and 1930. Oh, the world during World War II was gone, thoroughly gone. And in 1939, they signed a non-aggression pact with the Nazi Germany, and resulting in the joint invasion of Poland. And Stalin led his country through its post-war reconstruction, during which it developed a nuclear weapon in 1949. Imagine 1 year after UDHR and they just made a nuclear weapon. And in these years, the country experienced another major famine and an anti-Semitic campaign peaking in the doctor's plot. Let's see this anti-Semitic campaign. It reached new heights after 1948 during the ruthless Cosmopolitan, in which numerous Swedish poets were killed or arrested. It culminated the so-called Doctor's Plot, in which a group of doctors, almost of whom were Jewish, were subject to a short trial for supposedly having plotted to assassinate Stalin. And under the SARS, so under Stalin, this is what used to happen. And there was, so you see, what I'm trying to show you is the UDHR was signed in 1948. USSR abstained from signing. Now, there is a very interesting game that was happening. So the Soviet press accused the Jews of groveling before the West, helping American imperialism and slavish imitation of bourgeoisie culture and bourgeoisie aestheticism. Victimization of the Jews in the USSR at the hands of Nazi was denied. Jewish scholars were removed from the sciences, and immigration rights were denied to Jews. The Stalinist anti-Semitic campaign ultimately culminated in the Doctor's Plot in 1953. Imagine, this is 5 years after 1948. It was clearly aimed at a total liquidation of Jewish cultural life. You see, thoroughly going against the UDHR. And this is what USSR made a mistake in doing. They needed to sign up to the UDHR, but because it was a government that was really violating human rights, that's why they abstained. And they are very clever. Did you hear those countries saying no? They didn't vote no. They just abstained because they knew what they were doing. That's what South Africa is also saying. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. This was a very lovely, you see, now it has given us time to read about the Soviet Union. It had a very sad history in the 1950s and 40s. All right. Adios, guys. Keep on smiling. Enjoy your LGBTQ life. Enjoy the LGBTQ culture. Go and have fun. Break a leg. Enjoy the world. You are a global citizen. The world is yours. You have a right to a social and international order. And that means you have a right in this world. Goodbye.